They say history repeats itself.
19th century, the heads of the biggest corporations in America, the robber barons, got together and they set rates, they set prices, they determined how they would control information flow, they determined how they get rid of competition. And I'll be darned if we aren't right back there again. Except for this time, you're the robber barons.
He talking about big tech, because now today, big tech is the robber barons of right now. That's why they banned Donald Trump from social media. I think the robber barons took my YouTube page. Ain't that a bitch?
This is the first reaction from the former president, now just coming in over email, not over social media. The former president saying what Facebook, Twitter, and Google have done is a total disgrace and an embarrassment to our country. Free speech has been taken away from the president of the United States because the radical left lunatics are afraid of the truth.
The Democrats are more scared of the truth than Hunter Biden is scared of going to a rehab.
But the truth will come out anyway, bigger and stronger than ever before. The president, the people of our country will not stand for it. These corrupt social media companies must pay a political price and must never again be allowed to destroy and decimate our electoral process.
And steal elections and lie on people calling them white supremacists because of their beliefs.
Centra is a tool that Facebook uses to track its users, not just on Facebook, but across the entire internet.
Facebook tracks its users like Hunter Biden tracked crack dealers on Skid Row.
Most people know that Facebook has information about them.
And so do children's services. That's how I owe child support. And that's been Mark Zuckerberg plan the whole time.
It's an online directory that connects people through universities and colleges through their social networks there.
And colleges is where liberals spread their propaganda. That's where most of the activists is.
You sign on, you make a profile about yourself by answering some questions, entering some information such as your concentration or major at school.
So we know who to spread our propaganda to. Facebook got all our information.
We submit things like our names, our hometowns, our ages, our birthdays, and our interests, and we assume that Facebook is collecting that data.
But they collecting our data all right. All of it.
Contact information about phone numbers, instant messaging screen names, anything you want to tell, interests, what books you like, movies, and most importantly, who your friends are.
Because we need to know your whole life.
And then you can browse around and see who people's friends are and just check out people's online identities and see how people portray themselves and just find some interesting information about people.
But Facebook finds out more.
But Facebook has much more data on most people than they realize.
Facebook know more about you than Jesus because they got different kind of gadgets and devices and programs to track your every movement.
Centra tracks different profiles that a user visits, their message recipients, their linked accounts, the pages they visit around the web that have Facebook buttons. Centra also uses behavioral data to monitor users' accounts, even if those accounts are registered under a different name.
Facebook know who you are even under an alias. One day, Facebook is going to be like the China social credit scoring system.
So, picture your life in a place where everything you do, what you buy, how you behave, is tracked.
Like Facebook track you down right now. And Facebook jail reminds you on who runs shit.
The government gives you a score. And the score is a measure of how trustworthy you are as a citizen.
I'm good as a citizen. When Facebook start testing, they better start testing me as a baby daddy. I have a fucked up score.
And determines what you're allowed to do.
And Facebook tried to determine what you are allowed to say.
Mr. Cook, is the cancel culture mob dangerous?
Hell yeah, it is. That's why they're trying to turn America into China.
The system's eyes are in big data, artificial intelligence.
And Facebook uses intelligence that's artificial.
Facebook can take all the data that you submit and combine it with data from other users and outside information to construct a profile of you.
Because Facebook uses a machine to profile its users.
And roughly 200 million surveillance cameras.
Facebook got over 200 million users in the United States. Probably over 300 million. I think over 300 million. I know social media got over 370 million users in the United States.
Facebook uses nearly 100 different data points to classify your interests and activities.
What, smoking weed and plotting on my baby mama?
This would include basic stuff like your age and gender. but also more complicated information, like whether you own a motorcycle, or you recently went on vacation, or whether you're a gadget geek.
Or a little kid's freak that like little kids. Your credit score will be low in China. Maybe.
The scores go from 350 to 950 and are based on habits and behavior.
Behaviors like what?
A lot of alcohol, too many video games. Not so good.
Well, if you was gay and smoked crack and like little kids and hookers, what would your score be? I'm just asking for Hunter Biden.
Researchers have found that by using signals such as your likes and interactions, Facebook could tell if you were in a relationship or going through a breakup.
Me and my baby mama been broke up, and we going through an assassination right now. Can Facebook detect that?
Facebook doesn't just know who you are, it also knows where you are.
In China, that's how they control their people.
Social credit scores will be assigned to every one of China's citizens for life.
Just like Facebook, because if you want to socialize with your friends and be part of society, you got to have a Facebook account. Facebook control your friends.
Your companies are the most powerful companies in the world, and I want to talk about how you're coordinating together to control information.
And control the universe. And to target you if your profile don't fit their criteria.
I do think that we can do a better job of explaining how advertising works. There is a common misperception, as you say, that is just reported, often keeps on being reported.
That's because it keep on being true.
That for some reason we sell data.
So what's so untrue about that? Facebook don't sell data?
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
Or in America, ask Facebook.
And location data could reveal other people who live in your house, even if you're not connected to them on Facebook.
So Facebook is spying on the citizens like China.
When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer.
Yeah, like a fucking lie.
Now, obviously, Facebook knows what its users buy when they click on ads from Facebook.
But that's not what Mark Zuckerberg said.
I can't be clearer on this topic. We don't sell data. That's not how advertising works. And I do think we could probably be doing a clearer job explaining that given the misperceptions that are out there.
So Facebook is getting a bad name for selling data.
Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay?
I can't ask China a question because I don't know their number. Hell, I can't ask Facebook a question either because they don't have a number. As a matter of fact, I can't ask neither one of them a question because neither one of them have a number.
But what most people don't realize is that they have ways of tracking your offline purchases as well.
And how they do that?
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
For many years, Facebook has had partnerships with data brokers that collected information about people's purchases.
So Facebook is connected with 7-Eleven.
So, for example, if you buy a burrito with your credit card, Facebook could know about that transaction, match it with a credit card that you've added to Facebook or Facebook Messenger, and start showing you ads for indigestion medicine.
Or ads for Slurpees. Next! If you lived in China, you would need privileges to buy Slurpee.
You start with 1,000 points, and you can print out your report anytime.
So China have a social credit ATM.
You lose points for things like jaywalking, littering, tossing cigarette butts, or spreading rumors.
And who in control if it's a rumor or not? Big tech?
And each night, local TV shows the surveillance highlights of the day.
Well, in America, fake news lied about Donald Trump highlights every day. Next! Facebook is helping us become more like China.
One of the most controversial parts of Facebook data collection is a feature called People You May Know.
They should have a picture of people I don't want to know, because it's a lot of haters I want to block on Facebook.
And this is where Facebook uses many different signals of what it knows about you to determine who else you might be connected to.
It makes it easier for them to affiliate you with a group so they can spy on you like the feds.
The Tasks platform allows Facebook employees to communicate about projects they're working on together. That includes Facebook's censorship teams, including the so-called community well-being team, the integrity team, and the hate speech engineering team.
And the snitch team liberal who act like they Chinese.
And then there's Joanne. She's an information collector, a paid enforcer who walks around and writes down deeds about her neighbors.
Or you can just say she snitches.
Her quota is 10 a month. She likes the work, thinks the city's better for it.
And liberals think social media is better off if you snitch on conservatives.
So Facebook, as I understand it, Facebook censorship teams communicate with their counterparts at Twitter and Google and then enter those companies' suggestions for censorship onto the task platform so that Facebook can then follow up with them and effectively coordinate their censorship efforts. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, let me just ask you directly, under oath now.
I know what Mark Zuckerberg is thinking.
Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer.
China gonna blame America.
Does Facebook coordinate its content moderation policies or efforts in any way with Google or Twitter?
So in other words, big tech is like the big three, but they don't play basketball, they sell information.
And this is not always things that you shared with Facebook. It might be contacts in your phone. It might be people who have been in the same room as you. Facebook was using location data to recommend friends.
Damn, Facebook even pick your friends for you.
So it might have been recommending people who share a doctor with you or work in the same building.
Or y'all go to the same children's services court. Next! Big tech is trying to monopolize selling information.
The thing about the social credit system is that there isn't one single system, not yet.
But it's soon to come.
You were 4 pretty important guys leading 4 of the most important companies on the planet, and it would sure be helpful if you spoke out against this.
Why? Selling and stealing information is how big tech get paid.
Facebook can also be used to compile data about your political activity, like protests or marches you go to.
Like Facebook know everybody that attended the Capitol 6 so-called insurrection, but they don't know nobody that ever attended a Black Lives Matter march. Ain't that a bitch?
I want to just reference a letter. Barry Weiss, who resigned as an editor at the New York Times, she wrote a letter explaining why she resigned. And I'll just read 3 sentences for all of you, actually.
In case y'all don't read employees' complaints.
She says, first of all, my own forays into wrongthink made me the subject of constant bullying by my colleagues who disagree with my views.
Don't that sound like socialism?
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
He then says later in the letter, everyone lives in fear of the digital thunderdome.
What the hell is a digital thunderstorm?
Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer.
And usually a lie. Next! Big tech is not just working with the swamp. They're also working with the police.
In one case in 2016, the ACLU found that 500 police organizations had signed up for a service called Geophedia, which scraped data from social networks like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to help officers look for users who might be in a specific location or attending a specific protest.
The program is called Conservative Tracker.
The online venom is excused so long as it is directed at the proper targets.
And that's anyone who support Donald Trump or have conservative views.
And those targets aren't just conservative. In fact, Ms. Weiss is actually center-left. She's not conservative. The targets are anyone who disagrees with the mob.
My bad, or the liberals will attack anybody that don't agree with they shit. When you don't agree with liberal shit, they treat you like other people. And I don't want to say what people because I might sound racist.
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
Next! Pretty soon, Facebook gonna be like China and punish you for not acting the way they want you to act.
Being discredited makes it hard to get a job, a loan, a hotel room, or put kids in certain schools.
It's hard to do that now because of the Wu-Tang.
There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt.
They coming up with an app right now to see who got the Wu-Tang shot.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
And who gets to consider if it's moral or not? I know James Touchett morals are in the right place. Because he donated to my Cash App. James have very high morals.
To predict life outcomes, like whether you will be addicted to substances, whether you will switch political parties, whether you're physically healthy or physically unhealthy.
And if you ain't got your Wuhan record yet, they gotta know about it. Just like they gotta know about it in China.
If you want to increase your score, you can choose to share more personal information securely with our certified partner companies.
So in China, you get more points if you give them all the information about your life. Just like on Facebook, you get more access if you give them all the information about your life.
Information like your credit card purchases, communications and health information from your phone, energy use data from your smart meter, and your viewing and listening history from streaming companies.
Facebook got all that information already.
That information helps our carefully selected machine learning systems trust you, your friends, and your family.
So the machine has to trust you and not people. And the machine has to put you in a group, not people.
Facebook doesn't just know who you are, where you are, and what you buy. It also can be used to figure out what kinds of things you might do in the future.
Well, I better hurry up and block my hitman before we get Minority reported. Next! What if I don't want to show my Wu-Tang score?
You can hide your score, but in some cases, this may cause it to drop.
And pretty soon, if I don't show my Wu-Tang record, I probably can't fly.
Being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules.
Next! I thought a country was supposed to have laws. I thought rules was for kids, dogs, and strip clubs.
Some things like disruptive actions, hiding your data trail, or making decisions that harm others could lower your score over time.
Well, all the shit I want to do to my baby mama, I'll probably start off my score with a -3.
If this happens, you may find it harder to access certain government and private services.
As long as I can make it to the weed dispensary, I'm good. Next! And one day with Tulsa Brickworks donation, I'm gonna get plenty of weed. That's an inside joke.
It forces us to be well behaved.
Next! Being forced is not being free.
So if you have an old housemate, friend, or relative that you don't spend time with anymore, you may want to file a formal notice of disassociation on the Social Credit app.
What if I want to disassociate myself from my kids? Do they got an app for that? They're my friends. I don't even know why they do that anyway. Why they do that?
In an effort to keep all of its subjects in line.
China got their citizens in check.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it. And anyway, we don't have a choice.
Because if you go against the government in China, you might come up missing.
In China, being monitored is nothing new.
But Facebook spying on its users is something new. We never had a system that spied on Americans before.
But algorithmic surveillance makes it possible to collect data to build detailed profiles of people, especially the ones not loyal to the government.
In America, it will be white supremacy.
His dog whistle, the white supremacy.
Because they don't agree with us taking away their rights. Or they Trump supporters.
That is the greatest threat to terror in America, domestic terror.
So now they must put you under surveillance like China.
When asked would he condemn white supremacy, he said he didn't say a word. And then when I said, well, how about the Proud Boys, which is a white supremacist group, he said, well, I just told them to stand down and stand ready. Stand down and stand ready?
Don't that kind of sound like what the Democrats is doing to Trump supporters right now?
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. Their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media.
Don't that kind of sound like what the left is doing to Trump supporters right now?
And so I would make sure that my Justice Department and the Civil Rights Division is focused heavily on those very folks. And I would make sure that we, in fact, focus on how to deal with the rise of white supremacy.
Because Trump supporters are the biggest threat to democracy. And saying America first is a no-no.
Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no.
Or our support for Donald Trump, that's also a no-no.
And these guys are not, and women are in fact demented. They are dangerous people.
And we must treat them like China treat people if they disagree.
On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit.
And so do taking a Wu-Tang.
We've got to make that transition. If you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask outside.
Come again?
If you're vaccinated and you're outside, put aside your mask. You don't have to wear it.
That's what I thought you said. Next!
Of all the video surveillance cameras on the planet right now, nearly half of them are in China.
And the rest of them are on Facebook.
I made comments online, so the Secret Service came to my door.
Yeah, because you've been supervised.
Is this mandatory? Do I need to speak to you? Am I under arrest? Are you charging me with anything?
Yeah, a Facebook crime.
I'm here to ask you about the statements you made online.
What statement?
The specific statement.
What statement?
You saying what you want to do is what I pay my hitman to try to do.
Oh, so what you're saying is I don't have a freedom of speech. I can't say what I want to.
Not if it's disagreeing with the Wu-Tang medicine.
If I didn't commit a crime, did I commit a crime by expressing what I said?
That's what I'm here to ascertain.
No. Did I commit a crime by expressing what I said?
Yeah, a cancel culture crime.
No, you did not.
Okay, so am I under arrest?
No, you're not.
Is it mandatory that I need to speak to you, is what I asked you?
I would like you to speak with me.
No, that's not what I asked you.
But that's what he gonna tell you because he full of shit.
You have the right to decline my interview if you wish.
Oh, I do?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Well, get the fuck out of here.
You have a card? Maybe I could call your boss and then we could really sit down. After I'll give you one of my cards.
What, your Facebook police card?
No, I didn't ask for yours. For yours. So I can get legal representation. And then you can ask all the questions you want in front of my attorney. So just give me a card with your information and we can contact you.
Well, you can call my office. I'm not going to give you my card.
What, you don't have no Facebook police detective cards made?
Can you take down my number?
Sure. Take down his number, Macy.
I'm recording anyway, so you can just...
Oh, okay.
210. Well, I don't really want my number on, wherever you put.
Well, your ass should have a Facebook private detective business card then.
And if it's to an office, it's going to be there anyway, so anyone can get it.
Not really. Facebook don't have a number.
And if you don't mind just writing your name and your badge, I'll contact your office. And once I have legal representation, then we can sit down and sort it out.
So if the liberals get their way, telling the Facebook police to get the fuck out of here might be illegal.
Off of a Facebook comment.
It's all right. It's all right.
The Facebook detectives will come to your house and come to your house soon.